I'm Carole Leathem, and you're listening to a bonus episode of the Caretakers Journey podcast. I'm your host, and I want to welcome you to day 15 of our Caretakers 31-Day Resolve Challenge. Today is January 15th, 2025, and our resolve today talks about taking breaks. And so grab your Post-it note and write, I resolve to commit to regular breaks so that I can recharge emotionally and physically. So, what does it like to take little breaks? Well, one day I was having a particularly hard caretaking day. It was still early in the morning, only 6:45, and I was just walking back into my house from the gym. I had been dealing all morning with an issue in Milwaukee with my mom, and there had already been 4 phone calls, and I was expecting more. My husband was also recovering from surgery, so I had to check on him, and I found myself exhausted and overwhelmed, and it wasn't even 7 a.m. I walked over to my coffee maker, I pushed brew, and as I stood there waiting for my cup to fill, I took a really deep sigh and I said out loud, I wish I could take a short vacation. Well, with my cup full of steaming coffee, I turned around from the counter and my eye caught an oil painting on the wall behind me. It had been a gift from a friend, and they had bought it when we had traveled to Hawaii many years before. The painting is bright colors, greens, pinks, purples. It's so beautiful. And it's a cabin on a hill by a waterfall in the Hawaiian mountains. My favorite pink plumeria flowers are hanging right by the porch where an empty rocking chair sits. As I stood there staring at that painting that morning, I said to myself, I wish I was there right now. I took a deep breath, I took a sip of coffee, and I thought, why not? So I grabbed my phone, I turned on a waterfall sound, I picked my coffee back up and began to imagine that I was there standing on the porch, drinking my coffee, listening to the waterfall, smelling the flowers. Friends, I only stood there for a few minutes, but the stress of the morning and the responsibilities of the day faded away, and I began to feel calm and energized. I had just taken a mini vacation and it felt wonderful. Now, I know how to take a mini vacation. And whenever I feel overwhelmed, you can too. And this is how you do it. It is the simplest, it is the most refreshing thing that I can do. And I try to take a mini vacation every single day. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is find a painting or a photo or look on YouTube. I love the beach. So, I'll find a beach scene. I'll find maybe this, I don't even have to add a sound from my phone because on YouTube, sometimes the ocean sounds are right there with it. I know on my Amazon Prime, I have a couple of beach scenes there that I use at night. You just pick a scene. I also have one of the mountains with a stream rushing through, and you can hear the stream and you can hear the noises of the forest around the stream. And so I don't even have to add sound. So after you find where you want to take your vacation, and sometimes I like to go to New York City, sometimes I like to go to Paris, sometimes I just like to get out of town for a few minutes. And that's how I do it. I find a photo of where I want to go. And then I begin to visualize. I imagine the smells. I imagine the feel of the air. What is it like to be in that spot? What would you see? What would it feel like to pick up something from the ground? What would you pick up? I just begin to build out this imagination of what it would be like to be there. I went to Africa many years ago. And so one of my favorite visualizations is to pull up a photo. And there's a couple of websites that I track that have forest cams, or they call them cams out in the brush cams. That's what they call them. And you can watch these brush cams. And sometimes a lion will walk by, an elephant will walk by, and you can hear the noises of what it sounds like if you were standing right there in the savannah at that moment. And I can imagine, because I've been there, what it would smell like, what it would feel like. what it looks like and feels like inside to see a lion walk by. So you find something that you want to visualize, and then you have to start meditating. Now, I don't want to lose you here because we're not talking about meditation in what might be the sense of like yoga or whatever. I'm talking about the goal of meditation here is to turn off your brain for a few minutes. You're focusing on what you're visualizing, where you want to be, the sounds of that location. And if you need sound, you can turn it on in your phone. And I always put my phone in airplane mode for my mini vacations because I don't want to get interrupted. Now, I've now set myself up. I'm visualizing, I'm meditating, which means I'm turning my brain off for a few minutes and I'm moving my brain from here to there and just relaxing. Now, if I have time to take a little bit longer mini vacation, I could read a book. Or I'm a movie person. I am a movie girl. I love movies and I can get lost in a story, even if I've read the book or watched the movie before. And I just let myself become a part of the story. And there are some of my favorite movies out there where I will watch them and I will just all of a sudden be in the story. And it takes my brain off what I'm doing. I also love travel. And so I'll watch a travel show and I'll imagine for a moment that I'm on a tour of whatever country the show is talking about. I took my mini vacation this morning, and for a few minutes, I looked at photos of Ireland. I had some Irish music playing in the background, and I imagined what it would be like to be standing on this cliff overlooking the ocean with my coffee early in the morning in Ireland. I've always wanted to go, and today, for a few minutes, I did. So let me ask you this. How are you going to take a mini vacation today? Where will you go? What will you do? What is going to help you step outside of your chaotic caretaking life for a few moments so that you can recharge? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you know a caretaker, share this show with them using the links in the show notes below. My resources for these resolves come from my book, Are You Ready to Find Joy When Life Gets Messy? If you want to know more about my personal caretaking journey, the link to purchase my book is below. And over the coming few weeks, I am going to be going and doing an in-depth study, a few episodes of the podcast on my book. We're going to talk about how it started. We're going to talk about my tips and tools. I'm not going to read you the book because if you want to know, you can read the book, but I'm going to share excerpts from the book and I'm going to share especially tips and tools that I use in my caretaking journey. If you want an in-depth copy of the Caretakers 31-Day Resolve Challenge, join my email list where you'll see the link below, and I'll let you know how you can get it when it's available. As I close out the show today, I want to pray for you. God, thank you for the caretaker that's listening, especially the caretaker who's feeling overwhelmed. I pray, God, right now they would get up out of their seat or they would pick up their phone and they would find something that they can just visualize on. And for the next few minutes after they finish listening here, they'll take a mini vacation. God, I am so blessed by the way that you have helped me learn to take a vacation. And I love that I get to do that every single day. So God, I pray that the caretakers will find a way to take a break so they can rejuvenate and re-energize and come back to their caretaking duties more patient, more calm, and more loving. God, I thank you for the opportunity to serve and love and inspire the caretakers who are listening from all over the world. God, walk before us, walk beside us, walk behind us. God, I know that you are the God that sees us and loves us. Thank you so much. In your precious Son's name, I pray. Amen. Let me bless you. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look with favor on you and give you peace. I will be back tomorrow for day 16. And until then, it's all about